And Blaine, let's look at the Northwest now. Now, there's been so many issues, these big metros in other parts of South Africa. But the Northwest also full of interesting areas, possible hotspots. We have Marikana, politicians chased away from that area in the last general elections. We have water issues in Motlaong, and we have Tlokwe, where those by-elections were disputed. And now let's cross to our reporter, Lebogang Khositsewe, who's in Mahikeng, and find out what's happening in that part of the world. Over to you.
Good evening, Francis, and good evening to you too, Blaine. Welcome to the Mahikeng local municipality. We are at the IEC Center. This morning we were able to speak to the Provincial Electoral Officer, Dr. Tumelontle Tiba, about today as well as yesterday's proceedings with the special vote. And she has assured us that everything is in place, everything worked out well, and everybody is just anticipating the next 10 hours when South Africa will be voting. But of course, tonight we are shifting the focus a little bit. We have now joining us on the stage Professor Lisiba Tifu from the University of South Africa to discuss a few issues that are emanating, as Francis has been talking about, emanating from the province as well as from the town, the capital city of the Northwest Province. Good evening, Professor Tifu, and welcome to SABC News. Perhaps let's start with the story of the National Freedom Party. We know that the NFP in Gauteng has urged all its members to give their vote to the ANC after being disqualified, after failing to meet their deposit on time. Is that your analytical view?
Well, look, I think that view is not universal. I've just picked up a few minutes ago that in the Northwest Province, they hold a different view. Well, to the extent that the national leadership said, let's embrace the ANC, my question is, do they still have the national leadership that can really speak authoritatively and be listened to by the people on the ground?
And of course, the thousands in the Northwest Province saying that no, they are supporting the Forum for Service Delivery, rather, which is the new kid on the block, after Gauteng has said that the votes must go to the ANC. What now happens to those councillors, perhaps, who have been prepared to win maybe 1 or 2 seats, a couple of seats here and there, who've been campaigning so well for the NFP, only to be told to support the ANC?
Well, politics is a game of its own. I'm sure there will be some horse trading, even if there wouldn't be. But there is an interesting argument that is being advanced by those who want to embrace the Forum for Service Delivery, in that they are saying what they represent is what they also think they represent. Real bread and butter issues, the existential issues that bother and challenge the people on a daily basis. And given that the National Freedom Party hasn't got a track record, perhaps of corruption and mismanagement, one could be tempted to say, let me give them a try. Remember, you elect the government you deserve, and the government you have is what you deserve.
Certainly, but could this lead to possible divisions within the NFP?
No, look, for me, the NFP died. The NFP died the day its leader accepted to become a deputy minister. Just a simple analogy. The ID leader, Patricia de Lille, killed her party on that day when she decided to go into bed with the ANC. By accepting the ministerial position, in my opinion, and I said it many times, that was the beginning, the end of her party. And remember, there was also an allegation that she was a proxy for the ruling party, for the ANC. So some machination, I think, were devolved to ensure that they are not registered as a hit back, as a revenge for what was done to the IFP. My inclination is the principal beneficiary of the NFP vote will be the IFP.
Let's just shift now from one hotly contested area to another. Let's talk about Tlokwe, the independent candidates in that area threatening to take the IEC to the electoral court, saying that after the merger of the Ventersdorp and the Tlokwe municipalities, some people still are voting in the wrong voting districts. What is your take on that? How do you see that panning out?
Look, it is unfortunate that we may end up once more in court with Tlokwe at the center of it. And again with the IEC being the loser in court. The IEC has lost its innocence. And if you watch the development today, and to their credit, they have already dismissed a few officials who have besmirching the name of the IEC. And it would be unfortunate indeed if they were to allow people to do exactly what they are not supposed to do, and which they did, and the court pronounced in the negative. It would be extremely unfortunate. I would hope that immediate action would be taken to ensure there is no repeat. Because at the end of the day, is the image and the credibility and the integrity of the IEC that is at stake.
And perhaps we cannot talk about Northwest Province without mentioning a little bit of Marikana, a very low turnout of voters today, but of course it was special vote. Do you see that this setting a precedence for tomorrow, raising from the fact that a lot of people in that area saying that they are planning to snub or boycott these elections come tomorrow?
I'm not sure if one could put a high premium on that one, because I think it's a fertile ground for the EFF, right, given the history of Marikana. And I heard from the Premier that he would be there fairly early in the morning. I suspect the turnout would be reasonably good. And I'm inclined equally to say the principal beneficiary there might be the EFF.
Professor Lisiba Tefu from the University of South Africa, thank you so much. Of course, we'll catch up with you a little bit later